Hello friends, welcome to the course on accounting and financial management. So in this session, we will learn about the trial balance, the rectification of error, adjusting and closing entry. So mainly trial balance we will learn. See, this will be the English session. Hindi session is also available. Now see the trial balance. What do you mean by trial balance? See, in the beginning we learn, right? In accounts, how we prepare. See, first we prepare the journal, then we prepare the posting entry, that is ledger. Then we will move to the trial balance, and finally we prepare the final accounts. So trial balance is a procedure done before preparing the final accounts. So if anybody want to prepare the balance sheet, so before that he will prepare the trial balance, so that he will ensure that there should be no any mismanagement or the inaccuracy into the financial final accounts. So to avoid the inaccuracy into the final account, we are preparing the trial balance. Okay, now see the books of account which are written based on the double entry system of bookkeeping. For every debit there will be the corresponding credit. So what is trial balance? See, in the book of account we are following the bookkeeping method, which is the double entry. For every debit there is a credit, right? So thus we can say total debit and credit must be equal. So obviously for every entry there is one debit and one credit. So whatever total of a debit and a credit, that must be equal, right? So we can say such a list of balances, total debit and the total credit, such a list of balances is nothing but the trial balance. Such a list of balances is nothing but the trial balance. Okay, now see the definition. Trial balance is a statement showing debit and credit balances which are extracted from the various account in ledger and balance of a cash in hand and the cash at the bank shown in a cash book on a particular date. What do you mean by it? Simply whatever debit and credit you are having, either it is having from various accounts you have taken sales, either sales, purchase, etc., profit and loss, or otherwise whatever the cash you are having in hand or cash in a bank. So whatever all the debit and credit you have to accumulate, you have to prepare the list, and the total list must be equal. Total debit must be equal to total credit, and this is nothing but the trial balance. Okay, no need to worry about definition. Just understand total debit must be equal to total credit. This is the basic definition of the trial balance. Okay, now see purpose or the features of trial balance. Why we prepare the trial balance? Simply see, it is a list of all debit and a credit balance drawn from the ledger. It also includes the cash and bank balance. That means all debit and credit simply. It usually prepared at the end of the year, but it can also be prepared any time as and when required. That means what? See, we are preparing the trial balance generally at the end of the year, March end, right? However, at any point of time, either monthly, quarterly, or half yearly, you can prepare it. Okay. The main purpose is to establish the arithmetical accuracy. See, when the debit and credit matches, that time you can say arithmetically it is accurate, right? So, purpose is simply we have to establish the arithmetical accuracy so that in the final accounts there will be no any mismatch. It enables the trader to know the amount receivable from the customer and amount payable to the supplier. See, we are calculating total debit, total credit. So based on, you can easily judge how much we have to pay total and how much we have to get from the customers. Okay. Now it facilitates the preparation of final accounts. So obviously, after preparing the preparation of a trial balance, we have to move to the preparation of a final accounts, right? After trial balance, we have to prepare the final accounts. So trial balance is simply just before step of the final accounts, so that there should not be any inaccuracy into the final accounts. Okay, this is the simply purpose. So what is the main purpose? What is the objective of the trial balance? Simply to ensure the arithmetical accuracy is one of the important objective of a trial balance. Now see, type of trial balance. Basically, there are two types of trial balances. First is the gross trial balance, and second is the net trial balance. See, gross means what? It is the total method, and net means what? It is the summed or grouped method. Okay, one by one we'll learn it. Okay, first is the gross trial balance. What do you mean by gross trial balance or the total balance method? See, in that total debit and credit of each ledger is taken. The total receipt and the payment of the cash book will be added, and finally debit and credit column we will make it total. Okay, so see here, in gross trial balance what we are doing, for every entry we are taking two entry. For example, car debit is 1000, XYZ bank debit is 3000 with corresponding credit is 1000. For customers, debit is 500 and credit is also there, right? That means what? For every entry, for every aspect of the account, we are taking debit and credit both. Right, this is called as the gross trial balance. Now, in case of net trial balance, see, net means we are doing the netting. We are doing netting, right? So, in a net balance of each account that are drawn, debit and if debits are more than credit, it will show debit balance, and vice versa. If credits are more, it will show only the credit balance, right? So, see here. So, example, you will get a better idea. See here. In case of XYZ bank, debit is 3000 and credit is 1000. So, in case of net balance, what is more? Debit is more by 2000, so only debit has been taken. Got it? So here in case of customers, 500 debit, 3500 is credit. So what is the difference? Difference is what? 3000, which is more, credit is more, so only credit is being taken. So remember, in case of a gross trial balance, we are taking both a debit and a credit entry of every account, right? Whatever it may be, we will take it. In case of netting, we will simply do the netting. Whichever is more, that only we will take. For example, simply here is 3000 and 1000. But in case of net, the more is debit. So difference is simply 3000 minus 1000, only 2000 we will take. So here we are making the netting in case of a net trial balance. So remember, in case of gross trial balance, each entry is supposed to be entered. Remember, in case of gross trial balance, each entry is supposed to be entered. In case of net trial balance, we do the netting, either credit or debit, either only one you will find here. You cannot find here debit along with the credit. Only debit, credit, debit, credit. So credits are missing. Here credit is there, debit is missing. That means what? We are either taking debit or credit in case of a net balance. In case of gross, we are taking the both. Each and every entry is supposed to take. Okay, so the two difference you have to remember. Okay, now see what type of errors can be there. If there is mismatch between the debit and credit, what type of error can be there? Okay, so when we prepare the trial balance, what type of error we will find? So basically there are two type of error. One is the clerical error and another is principal error. What is a clerical error? Means simply done by human mistake. That is called clerical error, data entry error. Okay, so see, further clerical error we can classify into the error of omission, error of compensation, error of commission, and the compensating error. Okay, so what are the type of clerical error? Remember, the error of omission means what? Omitted, completely omitted. You forgot to do the entry, omission. Error of commission means what? That also we will see in detail. Error of commission and the compensating error. So omission, commission, and compensating error. So these are the three type of clerical error. Okay, so one by one we'll see here. Now, what is the error of omission? See, the error occur when transaction is completely or particularly omitted, or partially omitted to record in the book of account. That is what? Simply you forgot to enter the transaction. Very simple. Omission means what? Only you omitted it. Omitted means what? Either you can omit fully or partially. So you forgot to do the entry or you have entered partially. That is simply the error of omission. So error of a complete omission does not affect the trial balance. For example, say there is a 5000 debit, there is 5000 credit balance, opening balance. Okay. Now there is a one goods you sold, but you didn't enter into the book of account. So it will not affect your either debit or credit because you are not done the entry, right? For example, very simple, right? What is the best example? Seller has sold the good, but he has not entered either in sales account or cash account or a bank account. So money will be with him, no entry there, bro. That means we can say it is not affecting trial balance because entry is not done. Why will we affect the trial balance, right? So the partial omission obviously result into the disagreement between the trial balance. So obviously partially entry being done means what? See, here is debit, here is credit, but you only entered a one leg debit. So obviously credit will be shortfall, right? So in that way, partial omission will result into the disagreement between the trial balance. Now, for example, see, if goods are sold to Mr. Ketan and transaction is not recorded in the sales journal, it is a complete omission type. It is an example for the best example for the complete omission. Now, if transactions are recorded in the sales journal but not posted to the Ketan's account, that is in ledger, it will be the part of partial omission. Means what? See, if sales is happening, how we are doing the entry? If sales is happening, we will credit sales, right? And we will debit the Ketan's account. We will debit the Ketan's account, right? So what you done? You did that sales entry, but you not debited the Ketan. Okay, you did it. And that means obviously the credit will be more and the debit will be less. In that case, what you can say? It is the partial omission. Okay, so these are the best example. Remember, omission means, see, complete omission will not have the effect on trial balance because you have neither entered debit nor the credit. However, the partial omission definitely affect the trial balance. It is very, very important. Okay. Now next is the error of commission. What is the commission? See, when error occur, this error of commission occur when an accountant recorded a debit or the credit to the correct account, but wrong subsidiary account or the ledger. What is the best example I will see you? See, money received from the customer Sumit. See, cashier receives money from customer name is Sumit, but it is given credit to the Sunil's account. Okay, so that means what, you are sitting in the cash. You have taken the cash from the customer, right? But from Sumit you have taken the cash, but you have entered a wrong account number, and that has been credited to the Sunil's account, right? So what happened at the end of, see, your cash on hand account or teller account will have the balance, which you will get tallied, right? Your balance will get tally. However, the Sumit's account or the Sunil's account will not tally, right? So there will be the less credit in Sumit's account and excess credit in the Sunil's account, because a wrong customer's account is credited. So this is the best example for error of commission. So here total debit, total credit will not have any effect. However, the sub account, for example, the customer's account is mismatched. In that case, the error of commission will happen. Very simple. Very simple. Only one word you remember. In case of commission, what is commission? The error of commission is simply the wrong subsidiary book is wrongly entered. Okay, and obviously it have the effect on the agreement of a trial balance. So Sumit's account will not tally. That's why we can say it will have the effect on the trial balance. Okay, now see further. When an error is committed in recording a transaction with the wrong amount or wrong side of the account, see, for example, see, posting a correct amount is correct, but side is wrong. See, for example, you will get a better idea. For example, there is a sales goods sold to Mr. Sanjay for 720. Okay, now what will be the correct entry? Sales account should be credited, because sales is the income. It is nominal account that must be credited, and Sanjay's account is nominal account. We have to debit it. Okay, very simple. We will learn it. So sales account should be credited, Sanjay's account should be debited. What type of error can happen? See, amount can be correct, but our account is wrong. So what happened first? So instead of crediting sales account, you debit sales. Instead of debiting Sanjay, you credited sales. That means debit credit mismatch. That is account mismatch. Right? It is the error of commission. Next, wrong amount but a correct side. See, sales credited, Sanjay account is also debited. So your debit credit is same, but amount you entered wrong. 720 instead of 720. Here you have correctly entered, but here you have entered, for example, 270. So this is the commission error. Next, amount is also wrong and side is also wrong, right? Sales account you have credited by wrong amount. Sanjay's account you have credited with wrong amount. So debit credit also vice versa mismatches, and the amount also mismatches. Both are the type of the error of commission. Okay, so I repeat, very easy to remember. Either you wrongly taken the accounts, either you wrongly taken the amount, or both can result into the error of commission. Okay, now see, following are the some example. Wrong amount, correct side. Wrong amount, wrong side. Both are the example for the error of a commission. And both are wrong is also example for the error of commission. Now see, total done in the totaling error in a subsidiary book means what? Purchase, sales, return, journal, totaling. If you are not able to do complete total of whatever error happen when you are doing the total in debit and credit side, that is also the part of error of commission. A mistake committed by balancing the ledger account, this is also part of error of commission. Okay, very easy to remember, right? When the amount changes or the account changes, that will result into the error of commission. Okay, now what is the compensating error? See, compensating error is error when one error has been compensated by offsetting the another entry. Means what? Very simple. See, you have taken a 2000 rupees of a cash receipt, but you forgot to enter. Simultaneously, in the afternoon, you have done the 2000 payment, and you also forgot to enter. So credit entry forgot, debit entry also forgot. So total balance at the end of the year will be correct. It will tally, right? You forgot one cash payment, you forgot one cash receipt as a cashier to enter. In that case, at the end of the day, your balance will tally, right? Because forgetting the credit entry, forgetting the debit entry will cancel each other, will have no effect on the trial balance, right? So we can see when one mistake nullify wrong effect of another, it is called as the compensating error. This is the arithmetical error, and this is having no effect on the trial balance, right? Now see, what is the error of principle? These errors are arising from not observing the accounting principle accordingly correctly. See, name it is indicating. This is the second type of error of principle. So we learn three errors, right? the omission, commission and compensating. Another type is the principal error, right? These are the type of clerical errors. Okay, what is the principal error? See, name it is indicating principle. So you are not following the accounting principles which we have learned in the beginning of the first lecture, right? So if you are not following that principle, that means error generated due to this is called as the principal error. Okay, now see, purchase of a machinery is wrongly recorded into the purchase journal, right? For example, what should be the correct entry? The correct should have been debit to the machinery account. See, you have purchased a machinery and you are wrongly recording it into the purchase journal, right? So means what? Machinery account here should have debited, right? You have debited the purchase account. So there is a mismatch into the principle of accounting. So such a error we also do not have effect on the trial balance. So then what and which error will have the effect on trial balance? See, here principle is changed, but see, which account you are debiting or crediting will not affect, right? For example, see, machinery account you have debited or purchase account you have debited, we are not worrying. In here cash account is credited. So which account is debited, we are not worried. Total debit and total credit here are matching. So why to worry here? That's why we can say trial balance will not affect due to the error of a principle. Do not have the effect on the trial balance. Okay, now which error will affect the trial balance? Then you have to remember the error of commission will definitely affect the trial balance. However, the partial omission is also affecting the trial balance. Remember that the error of principle, the compensating error will not affect the trial balance. Okay. Next, now how to identify error we learn. Now how to rectify that error we have to learn. So rectification of error, one-side error. See, one-side error if located before preparation of a trial balance, we can rectify simply by correcting the error. Okay, see, if you are not prepared at the trial balance, before trial balance you got the error, you can easily rectify. Okay, now see, through example you will get no entry is also required to pass error as it affect only one account. So in case of only one-sided error, we will not pass any entry. Okay, now see, rent paid is 10,000 but it is posted as 1,000. So what should be the correct entry? Rent we are paying 10,000. So correct entry should be rent account must be debited and we are paying in cash. So cash is a real account. Cash goes out. So whatever goes out, you have to credit. So 10,000 must be credited, right? That is basic we are learned. Now, what entry they have done? Instead of 10,000, they have debited rent as a 1,000 and cash they have entered as a 1,000. Okay, this is the entry they have done. This is the correct entry, ideal entry, but the entered amount is this. Entered entry is this presented. Now here we can observe that rent account is debited short by 9,000, right? So what correct entry we can pass? Rent account will again debit by 9,000 and corresponding entry will be cash account credit by 9,000. Okay, it is best. What is the best example for this? For example, you are making the cash payment. Customer reaches you for the cash payment. For 10,000 rupees, he has given you the check. You forgot by you are in a hurry as a cashier. You debited only 1,000. So at the end of the day, you will find now 9,000 rupees as excess in the cash. So what you do at the end of the day, you will find 9,000 as a short in the cash, not excess short because you are debited short amount, right? So 9,000 you will find the short. You have given customer 10,000 but entered as 1,000. So to debit that short amount, you will again debit the customer's account by 9,000 at the end of the day, and you will write the narration short amount debit, right? So in that way you are rectifying the single sided entry. Very easy, right? Practical example. Now see, again another example. See, goods purchased from Mohanlal wrongly recorded into the sales ledger. Okay, so what is happening here? Whatever we are purchasing, we are recording it into the sales ledger. So see, purchase must be recorded into the purchase ledger, right? Now see, rent paid 900 posted as a 9,000, right? 9,000 has been paid, but we are posting it 9,000. So it is also the error, right? So this is the how to rectify the error. Okay, now see, explanation for a second. Rent paid 900, posted 9,000. So ideal entry should be that rent account should be debited and cash account should be credited, because we are paying 900. Okay, this is the first example. This is the second. This is the explanation for second. Now, but what wrong entry happened? Instead of a 900, we are debited excess 9,000, right? So this is the entry happened, right? Now here rent is account which is debited in excess. So we should give a credit, right? So the excess debit by 9000 minus 900, 8100 is to be reversed. So no entry required to pass because this is the one-sided error. So we simply credit the rent account with the word by excess debit 8100. Right? This is very common. See, in practical, if you are sitting in the cash, right? Customer give you the check of 900 to withdraw the money, but you entered the 9000, right? And given already the 900. So at the end of the day, by end of the day, you will have the 8100 as the excess, right? So you will credit to that again customer's account. You will write their excess debit, reversal of excess debit. Okay. So in that way, practical example is there. Okay. Now see, 20,000 is paid as a salary to Mr. Sumit and which has been debited to his personal account. What will be the rectification entry? See what is happening here. See, very simple. Salary is paid to the Sumit. So the company should debit the salary account, not the Sumit's account. But here Sumit's account has been debited. First mistake, right? So first what we will correct it? Simply we will do the correct entry. Correct entry should be debit the salary account, right? Debit the salary account. And which account must be created? So Sumit account is involved here. So Sumit's account we should create. We should create the Sumit's account here, right? Now see, what should be the correct entry? See, we are paying salary to Sumit. So salary account must be debited and we are paying in cash. So cash account must be created, right? So what entries they have done? They have debited the Sumit's account and created the cash account. This is down the entry done. How will rectify it? See, correct entry first we will identify. Correct entry that Sumit must get a salary. So Sumit's account must be created. This is correct entry, right? And what wrong entry is happened here? Wrong entry happened that the salary account must be debited for corresponding entry, right? So Sumit's account credit and the salary account debit, that will be the correction entry. Okay. Now use here another example for a two-sided error. Goods purchased from Mohanlal wrongly recorded in a sales ledger of say 5,000. Okay. Now see here, very interesting example. Goods are purchased from Mohanlal but wrongly recorded in sales. Means what? Whatever purchase has been happened, right? We will record it in purchase. So purchase must be debited, right? And the another party, say Mohanlal account must be created. This is the ideal entry, right? When we are purchasing, when we are purchasing, purchase account must be debited and Mohanlal's account must be created, right? So when we are purchasing, Mohanlal become the creditors and we are purchasing, so we are debtors. Okay. So correct entry should be purchase account should be debited by 5,000 and Mohanlal's account must be credited by 5,000. This is ideal entry. But what wrongly they have done? They have instead of purchase, they have entered into the sales, right? So they have debited the Mohanlal's account and see, entry happen in sales means what? Sales means credit. So they have credited sales by 5,000 and debited the Mohanlal's account. This is wrong entry happen. Always remember, whenever there is a purchase, must debit. Whenever there is a sales, must be credited. That we have learned, right? Already learned. Because these are the nominal accounts. So sales is the income or the gain must be credited. Because purchase is the loss or the expense, so it must be debited. Now we learn, right? Mohanlal's accounts should be credited, but they have debited. Sales account they have credited. Okay. This is the wrong entry. Now see how to rectify that entry. Very important thing. See, what sales, ideally what should happen? Ideally purchase account should be debited, right? So we will debit the purchase account by 5,000, right? And the corresponding entry should be what? Mohanlal's account should be debited. Mohanlal's account should be created by 5,000. This should be ideal entry. But in wrong entry, we are debiting the Mohanlal's account by 5,000, right? That means if we do an entry of 5,000 credit to the Mohanlal account, it is already in minus of 5,000. So it will nullify. So additional 5,000 we have to credit. So Mohanlal's account we have to credit by 10,000. Okay. So we have to do debit 5,000 and credit 10,000. So to tally the debit and credit side, the sales account which is already credited by mistake, we have to reverse it and we will debit it by 5,000. Okay. In the same way, how to learn that? See, I will see. This is the wrong entry, right? So I will write it. Mohanlal's account they have debited. So Mohanlal's account must be credited by 5,000 to rectify it. Sales account credited by 5,000. So sales account credit by 5,000. So it must be debited. It must be debited to rectify the entry, right? This is just reverse of it. Either debit to credit, credit to debit. Okay. This will be the rectification entry. Now this is the correct entry. Just combine this entry with this, just compare. Okay, now purchase account 5,000. So here is no purchase account, so simply write purchase account must be debited by 5,000. Mohanlal's account credit should be 5,000. So what we have done here, written here, Mohanlal is credited by 5,000, right? But here corresponding entry that it is debited, so we will credit by another 5,000. Very simple. Okay, so it will be the Mohanlal credit by 10,000, so, and then sales will be debit by 5,000 and purchase will be debit by 5,000. So in that way you have to compare. Simply write down first what is the correct entry, then write down what is the wrong entry, right? Then just nullify it. Ideally what we want Mohanlal should have the 5,000 balance, but already it is having minus 5,000, so we will credit it by another 5,000, so 10,000 will be there, right? Then purchase account debit should be there, so we have taken, but sales account should not be there in a credit, so we will debit again sales by 5,000. Okay, so in that way you have to do the entry. Now see, rectification of error after preparation of trial balance. See, what is the trial balance? List of total debit and credit. Now if we prepare final the trial balance and then we found the entry, but which is just before of the final account, then how to pass that entry? Okay, we are not finding the entry, but at the end of preparation trial balance we found that. Then how can we rectify? Simply after the trial balance preparation, if there is a difference, it may be temporarily transferred to the new account called the suspense account. See, so what is suspense account? What we are doing? If there is any shortage or any excess of the cash, what we do at the end of the day, we will find the difference. If we are not finding, what we will do? We will debit the suspense account, right? If it is excess cash, we will credit it to the suspense account. If it is a short, with the permission from the competent authority, we will debit the suspense account, so that we will match the, at the end of the day, we have to close the cash, right? So this is simply the concept of suspense account. We are try to tally, but unfortunately we are not able to tally. In that case, we have to use the suspense account. It is what? It is after trial balance but before final accounts, right? So see, suspense account is not used in which of the following cases? So simply, suspense account cannot be used before trial balance. So when should we use it? After trial balance we have to use it. Before final accounts we have to use it. But before trial balance, we will not use the suspense account. Remember, why? Because after the trial balance has been prepared and before just a final accounts, we can use the suspense account. Okay. Now see, rectification of a error after preparation of a trial balance. Goods amounting 840 sold to Cold and Company were correctly entered into the sales book but transferred to the account 480 after the trial balance. So when there is word after the trial balance, we have to use the suspense account. See, what should be the ideally correct entry? See, what goods amounting 840 we have sold to Cold and Company, right? So sales is happening. So sales account must be credited by 840 and the company's account to whom we are selling, that must be debited by 840, right? But what wrongly they have entered? The company's account they have debited by the 480. And sales account they have credited by 480. That means instead of 840, typing error is there. 480 has been got typed. Okay. So that means what? Less amount is posted or entered to the debit account. So debit side of the company, 840, it is typed as 480. So 840 minus 480. So what is the short debit? 360 is a short debit, right? So we can say 360 is a short debit posted. Now how to rectify the entry? We have to see debit has been shortened, so simply debit that company's account by 360. And once, because the trial balance has been prepared already, so we will use the suspense account to credit it. Very simple, right? It's very simple, right? So debit is short, so debit that account, and the corresponding credit, which account you will take? Simply the suspense account you will take, because trial balance has been prepared. Okay, now see another example. Sales book was undercast by 2000. The same has been notified after the preparation of a trial balance. What should be the rectification entry? Now see, very simple. Sales book undercast by 2000 means sales has been, for example, 6000, but it has been noted as the 4000. That means less entry has been shown amount by 2000. That undercast means less. So we undercast, when your sales is undercast, we have to credit. So simply we will credit the sales account by 2000 because it is undercast. To match it, we have to credit it, right? Undercast means less credited. So we will credit it. And what after the trial balance, we have to use the second account as the suspense account. We will debit it. Very simple, right? If there is a question that the purchase account is undercast by 2000, purchase account is undercast by 2000, how to rectify it? Purchase is always debited, so we will, undercast means less debited, so we will debit the purchase account by 5000 by 2000 here, and we will create the suspense account corresponding. Okay, so if there is a question that purchase account is overcast by say 2000, right? Overcast means over, it is shown more, right? Purchase account is debited. Overcasting is done. Over means what? More. So generally purchases are debited, right? So it is debited over by 2000. So what is rectification? Credit the purchase account by 2000, and so that corresponding debit will be suspense account, right? Next, adjusting entry and closing it. See, very small concept. See, final accounts consist of trading accounts, profit and loss accounts, and the balance sheet. So all relevant expenses and the income for the period must be considered. Necessary adjustment like adjusting entry that should be made, and such a uncollected income and expenses. So adjustment we are doing. See, when at the end of the year, what we are doing? We are doing some adjustment entry. Right? For example, if there is some electricity bill supposed to pay, right, we will make some adjustment entry. Generally these are done for a quarter end or the year end, right? So these are the simply adjustment entry. If there is any income supposed to recognize or unpaid expenses, we will make the provision for the next year or next quarter. This is the provisioning entry. This is called as adjustment entry. Very simple. Now what is the closing entry? So at the end of the year, finally, obviously, all income and expenses accounts are to be closed. Their balances are to be transferred to the trading account or the profit and loss account via closing entry. How we make the closing entry? Whatever balance is there, we will transfer it into the either profit and loss account or the trading account of a company. That is what simply closing entry for that financial year, because we have to make a 0 at the closing year. Okay, so simply adjustment entry, which all we are doing quarter end and the year end. A closing entry that is generally happen centrally. Okay, so these are so small two concepts. So finally, what we learn, see, there are different types of error. One is the principal error, another is the clerical error. Clerical error further divided into the omission, commission, and the compensating error. And further we can say omission can be complete or the partial. Okay. Now, which have the effect on trial balance? Remember, the principal error of principal, no effect on the trial balance, right? Then in case of the clerical error, the error of a commission obviously effect on the trial balance. Compensating error not effect on the trial balance. The complete omission no error effect on the trial balance. However, a partial omission obviously affect the trial balance. So this is very, very important for exam point of view. 100% they will ask a question on that which error is affecting the trial balance. Okay. So friends, you can subscribe us, you can join our Telegram group. Our Android application is there, Banker Zone. You can download the Android application for CIB, JAIIB. So this is our helpline number. You can reach us on WhatsApp. Thank you, friends.